Well, good morning. Yes, 444. I wake up so early. I was awake 2 o'clock. And to wait till 5:55 is just too long. And yes, this is Friday, and normally I would be recording with the ambassador. However, we have a surprise, hopefully have a surprise coming up, and we will record tomorrow for the next day. And you'll know about the surprise when it gets here. In any case, I decided to talk about this dream that I actually meant to talk about in the video that I did before, the one with Aristo yesterday. And speaking of the one I did with Aristo yesterday, I will try to connect with him and let him re-record that. There was so much interference in trying to create that video. Some people said that they were able to persevere and watch it, but I know a lot of people don't have that much patience. So I will try to get Aristo to record that, and hopefully we'll get a better connection. In any case, the title for the talk that I'm doing right now, which is for the 16th of April, of August, I mean, April. I say April when I mean August. I say that a lot. I don't know what that means, but I fall into that a lot. It is August 16th that I'm talking about. Woman backseat driver taking us, to our new world. All right, this was one of my strange dreams. I don't know who the woman was or is, but she was driving me from the back seat, and I was sitting in front of the makeshift vehicle. We stopped for food and drink, then proceeded past buildings that were falling apart, crossed tracks of some sort into an area of new road under construction. The soil was turned up everywhere. In the dream, the road seemed to end, yet when I woke up, we were able to keep going on this road that seemed to appear in front of us as we traveled. I had the sense that it was in China and shared it with the ambassador that morning a few days ago. I've been pondering it since then and want to share some of what I think it was telling us. Yeah, it was different. I was with this woman. I think she might have been Chinese, but I couldn't swear to that. Here's the thing, I didn't see her well in the dream. She was sitting behind me. And I was sitting in what I described to the ambassador, something like a go-kart, but it wasn't really a go-kart because it was powered. It was a motored vehicle. And I was sitting in this crazy seat in the front, and the seat was strange in and of itself. But the lady who was driving was behind me. And she was driving. I wasn't. I didn't even have a steering wheel. She was the one that was driving me. And we decided to stop and get something to eat. We went to this little roadside stand, and we got our food, and I guess we must have eaten it there. And I went to pay for it, and he said, "Well, the ladies is free, and you just have to pay for your beverage." And it was 222 was how much it cost for the beverage, for the drink that I had. And I drink water most of the time, so I don't even order beverages a lot of the time. When I go out, I bring my water with me. In any case, when I'm standing there paying, there's another lady that appears, and I recognized her as being one of my classmates from when I was in school, and I commented, Janet Nagelhout, I think was, and I don't even know if that's the name that I remember thinking, and I said, "Is that you? You look 20 years younger." And she says, "Well, actually, you're thinking of my cousin. But yeah, that's who you went to school with. It's the same family." Now, I didn't interact much more than that in the dream with this lady, but I recognized her from my past. And then I proceeded on to the vehicle, and the lady that was actually driving was out in front of me. She got there before me, and then I got in, and we took off, and we went we had gone off of the highway to go to this stand, and we drove past all of these buildings that were on my left-hand side, uh, and the buildings were all falling down. I mean, it was like a dilapidated city falling apart. And we made a turn over, I guess, like railroad tracks, but there were all sorts of ruts in the road and stuff like that. And we made another turn, like up behind where these dilapidated buildings were, but there was like dirt was like in a mound, a big mound of dirt. It wasn't like a mountain. It was like dirt that had nothing growing on it, like it had been recently upturned. And there was a roadway that was up on this, that went up this hill, uh, in this mountain of dirt that again didn't have anything growing on it, and it was dirt. And there were like built bulldozer tracks and stuff like that, but we were able to ride the vehicle up this road, and then we reached a place where the road seemed to end, and that's when I woke up from the dream. But I kept pondering the dream, and as I was pondering, I realized we were still moving, and the road just kept going. This new road just kept going in front of us. So that's the weirdness of my dream. And as I said, I've been pondering that for a few days. And here's what I think it means. I do believe it is talking about the new world we are entering. I do believe that it is being driven by the divine feminine. And the divine feminine is doing it from the background, not the foreground, not in the front seat, but from behind. The divine feminine is actually taking us to a new world. There's a connection with the divine feminine that's still part of our past. Hence, I met this one that I thought was a former schoolmate of mine from many years ago. This would be our 50th class reunion that they're having in September next month, and because of my uncertainty of plans in regard to going to China, I have not said that I'm going to this, although I'd certainly like to be able to connect with some of my schoolmates on that day, but I don't even know where I'm going to be on September 12th, I believe is 12th and 13th, I believe is when it's happening. In any case, I had this connection with this woman from the past who looked 20 years younger, and the ambassador has told me that they have technology in China that they use now that basically takes 20 years off your life. I don't know if that's where the 20 years came from, but I know I said to her, "You look 20 years younger." Now, I hadn't seen her for 50 years, 50 plus years probably. But in any case, I recognized her. And again, I don't know who the other woman was. I didn't put a name to it, and I can't really say what she even looked like. I'm assuming Chinese, but maybe not. I don't know. But the divine feminine was actually in the driver's seat. And I think that's very significant because for a long time, we humans have been bullied by our patriarchal culture of male domination. And that has to end because the male without the feminine influence is unbalanced. And quite honestly, the reverse is also true. The feminine without the divine masculine is also unbalanced. So we do need to come into a greater balance, but it's the feminine that we have to recapture, the goddess that we have to recapture in order to get where we're going to go. Now, it's interesting that the woman's food was free, and that I only had to pay for my drink, and that it was $2.22. Now, I forget what Aristo said about the number 2, but it was 222, and all know I like these triple numbers, and I don't ever break them down. A triple number is never, 222 is not 6 to me, it's 222. 333 is not 9, it's 333. 444 does not break down to a 3, it's still 444 because you do not break down numbers that repeat. That's my own rule. It may not be a numerologist's rule, but it's my rule. and they're all master numbers. And when it's repeated 3 times, it's for emphasis, to drive it home. Or even 4 times, it's even more emphasis. And 4 is grounding on earth, which is part of what I do 444 videos for, in addition to the fact that I don't like to wait around till 555. But 5 is recapturing our life force energy, and 6 is moving into the transformation of the beast to the avatar, from that which destroys us to that which saves us. And that's rediscovering the Christ within, or the divine nature within, or the Buddhic nature within. It's rediscovering that within ourselves. The old buildings that were falling apart, to me, represent the world that we're living in. The world that we're living in is crumbling. It's showing signs of decay. And we're crossing the threshold of a boundary of some kind of tracks that have a lot of ruts in it, which means it's not smooth traveling. The time of transition isn't smooth. It's over rough roads. And then we're going up into area where the earth is being turned over. Okay, a reverse flow of energy, if you will. The soil that was under is being turned up so that it's on the top now. It's new earth. It's representative of the new earth, and there's a road that is able to be traveled, but it's not a paved road. It's a new road, and it's a road that keeps on going, because we're traveling the road right now, and we're moving out of unconsciousness, the dream, into consciousness. And when I woke up from the dream, and I'm pondering it now, no longer a lucid dream, but in a semi-conscious anyway state of awareness, the road keeps going in front of us, even though it had appeared to end in the dream. I think this is a very good picture of what's happening right now as we transition from the old paradigm to the new paradigm. And I want you to think about that. I want you to think about how you're doing your life. Who is driving? And I don't care if you're a woman or a man. Is it the masculine that's driving? Or is it the feminine, the receptive, the one who materializes things? Aristo talked about now is the time to create our reality. It's the woman that gives birth. It's the feminine that gives birth to new worlds. Always. The masculine doesn't do that. The masculine may provide inspiration. The masculine may cause impregnation of ideas and stuff like that, but it's the feminine that gives birth. It's the feminine that has to be in the driver's seat, because the new world has to be birthed through the goddess, not through the masculine god. And personally, God to me is genderless. I know there's God and goddess, and some people think God means masculine. It doesn't mean that to me. God means, and it's all it is. It's an inclusive term, not an exclusive term. It doesn't exclude the feminine. It includes the feminine and the masculine. But that's my take. Just so that you know, if I say the word God, I'm not meaning masculine. But I sometimes, because of so many people being so sensitive in this area, I have to add, and the goddess too. Mother, Father, God, because God is genderless, or quite the opposite. God is both, androgynous, or whatever you want to call it. But we are being taken into a new paradigm, into a new world. Yes, the old world is coming apart, the world of fraud, the world of fiction, the world of corporations, of corpses, of dead bodies, of legalities, of fraud and corruption everywhere. That world is coming apart, and we're creating a new golden age. The dragons are not just the red dragons, they're the golden dragons, okay? They're bringing us into the golden age. And that's the lineage. It's the golden age lineage. They control the gold. And that's significant as to where we're going, because we're going into a new golden age. Uh, some say 1,000 years, some say 10,000 years of peace amidst all the stuff that we've experienced and are still experiencing in our current world. But it's falling apart, and there's a new way opening up in front of us. And this is the message that I think the dream was trying to tell me, and it's why I have been pondering it for the last few days. I had intended to talk about it in the previous video that I did, as I said earlier. However, when I got to the end of it, I realized I had forgotten to do it. And then today I'm meditating when I woke up and thinking, well, this is the day to talk about that dream. So I did. Let the feminine have a more preeminent role in your consciousness, whether you're a man or a woman. Makes no difference. I know some very masculine women that operate with masculine energy. Get in touch with your feminine energy. Whether you're a man or a woman, get in touch with that feminine energy, that receptive energy. Get those impulses from spirit, from your inner guidance, and listen, and let the feminine take control of the steering wheel, and let her drive the vehicle rather than the masculine know-it-all energy of fundamentalism and of egoism. Let the feminine do the driving, and let her lead us into the world that is being created by us, through us, for us. Thank you for listening. Namaste.